Hi, I'm Rex Litter with the Midday News. Lae City should be expecting two major development projects in the near future. Lae MP and Deputy Prime Minister John Rosso said the first one is the 42 million kina double-story market where construction will soon start. Rosso said designs have been completed and the project, which is in partnership with the Australia and New Zealand governments, is now going through the procurement process. Another development that has already been designed is currently awaiting funding in the foreshore development at the DCA beach. The Lae City Authority plans to develop it into a leisure facility for the people of Lae to enjoy. The member for Lae said most of this project will eventuate within the next 4 years. Haulaneme Primary School and the community at Arasili village in the Ambunti Draikiki district in East Sepik province were excited to launch a new double-story classroom funded by Digishell PNG Foundation on Wednesday, 26 July 2023. The community has been closely involved in the classroom project since its commencement in February this year, working alongside NAB's building contractors. Through Digishell PNG Foundation's Education Infrastructure Development Program, the school received a double classroom building that included two fully furnished classrooms that came with student and teacher furniture, whiteboards and pinboards. The project also includes solar rooftop panels and a 9,000-litre Tafa tank and a wash facility.
Mickey Mouse. Thank you, sir. People talk, thank you, Rosana, about them. Support what them. Now you can look him also. This is not them come up through Hatok Villa. Suppose people to solve by enough. Both to solve by enough. That's all. Sana about them. People today people can look him also. How something may come up through what 14. Bring it to my bar. Sini 1 or 2. Man and Mary. You people, man, you can name no name. That's all time. People look and so carry materials come. You block that make him to time. Make him time look carry him. Now you block my big. Thank you, sir.
A declaration of emergency has been made by Minister of Petroleum and Energy as a direct result of the current disruption in the supply and distribution of fuel and petroleum products and foreign exchange. This morning, Minister Kerangakua issued the statement saying the declaration of emergency intends to achieve two objectives, the first being an interim measure to maintain fuel and petroleum product supplies in PNG. The second is the long-term objective to ensure that the country energy demand, including fuel and petroleum product, is permanently stabilized and is readily available for the country. The Puma Energy Limited and Puma Energy Refining Limited and the Bank of PNG current dispute over availability of foreign reserves to purchase fuel and petroleum products for the country has disrupted supply. Without the government's intervention, this crisis will directly affect the country's energy security, disrupt government services and businesses, and in general, negatively impact the economy and welfare of its people.
Maintain its supply of fuel as we work through longer-term solutions. So we cannot afford to have all of Puma's bank accounts closed, that's for sure. If we do, we're cutting both our own legs.
The 4 Army aviators feared dead in helicopter crash off the North Queensland coast have been identified. Air and sea search efforts continued in waters south of Hamilton Island in the White Shandays.
At sea after the MRH-90 Taipan helicopter they were flying in ditched into the ocean near Hamilton Island late Friday night. Captain Daniel Lyon, Lieutenant Maxwell Nugent, Warrant Officer Class 2 Joseph Laycock and Corporal Alexander Nags, all from Sydney's 6th Aviation Regiment.
The first and most pressing is to bring Daniel, Alexander, Joseph and Maxwell home to their families.
Today every Australian is thinking of the 4 families of the missing air crew. Our thoughts are also with those that they serve alongside. Friends, brothers and sisters in uniform.
The aviators were involved in a training exercise for Talisman Sabre, involving 30,000 troops from a dozen countries, when something went horribly wrong.
They're part of a really tight team in a very highly professional, highly skilled aviation unit.
Another helicopter involved in the mission immediately began search and rescue. Dozens of boats and planes have joined the large-scale search, and part of the wreckage was pulled from the ocean yesterday and brought ashore.
The main body of the airframe is yet to be located.
An exclusion zone remains in place across the Whitsundays Passage. Specialist divers and sonar equipment are being utilised, and hundreds of service people are involved in the search. Police say the debris collected will provide vital information in the investigation into what caused the crash, and pieces of the helicopter are being found not only out at sea but washed up on the coastline several kilometres away.
So the Air Safety Investigation Team arrived in Queensland today. They will do their work. It's very thorough investigative work, and the aim is to understand exactly what happened and why it happened.
I'm confident we've got the range of capabilities we need to be able to find the fuselage and our four mates.
Health organisations are hoping Victoria ban gas in new homes could help significantly improve the health of children, while the government's announcement focused on cutting emissions and reducing energy bills. Health advocates says it could also reduce childhood asthma rates.
It's a common feature in Victorian homes. The gas stovetop is where many families have long gathered to cook meals. But recent studies have linked cooking with gas to childhood asthma.
Children have smaller lungs, and the same concentrations of pollutants are more potent for them. Gas cooktop appliances produce nitrogen dioxide, which is known to trigger symptoms and also contribute to cases of asthma.
The peak asthma body is hoping Victoria's ban on gas appliances in new homes from next year can help reduce childhood asthma.
Banning gas in homes and creating healthier home environments will help both to reduce the risk of symptoms and flare-ups and hospital visits.
A 2021 report by the environmental organisation, the Climate Council, estimated gas cooking could be responsible for up to 12% of the country's childhood asthma burden.
Where your child is exposed to a smoker in the house, gas stoves can have a similar effect if they're not well flued, not well ventilated, or they leak.
The Victorian government's decision to ban gas appliances in new homes from next year has been widely supported by health and environmental organisations, as well as many construction and industry bodies. But the gas industry says it will reduce consumer choice, and the opposition has also criticised the move.
This is now forcing Victorians down one path at a time where electricity costs have increased by 25%.
While the Victorian government believes its gas ban will save families money, the exact impact on household budgets is yet to be seen.
The PNG Hunters travelled to Totali-Wikwa Stadium to take on the Brisbane Tigers in round 19 of the Horse Plus Cup, but couldn't build on the early 12-0 lead, falling 32-18 after 80 minutes. A poor end to a Tigers set ended with the Hunters' hold on attack and with the first real opportunity to produce points. With a hot potato sequence of passing and offloading, a sweeping play by Morea and Jamie Mavoko resulted in Roderick Tai getting over for the opener. Mavoko added the two extras for the Hunters to build an early 6-0 lead that could soon double. Hunters were presented another opportunity from a Tigers mistake. Morea again featured as Tai's quick hands beat the German defence to put 1A over for a 12-0. Hunters lead in the 13th minute before Tigers got into the groove in the second half. Here are the highlights.
Now on the last, Mavoko, they had the overlap, late pass from Mavoko, Roderick Tai is over. And the Hunters, they just kept the ball alive, throw caution to the wind, and it pays off for them. They have the opener. Plays it 10 out centre field, Mavoko, Morea Tai, and they're in again, the Hunters. Solo 1A. Plays it 10 out centre field, Mavoko. Morea tie, and they're in again, the Hunters. Solo Wane in the corner. What a dream start for PNG. There's JJ Natupu again. Described by Adam Jackson as a mini Tino, and they've got a chance here. Fatape slices through, and the Tigers, they respond accordingly. Has not a very tall team, the Hunters. Cole Geyer goes himself over the line. Can he get the ball down? Referee has the best seat in the house, and Cole Geyer has come up with a miraculous play down from Pezzett to Thompson, and now out now to Jennings, who bumps away from another. George Jennings. Geyer, overlap, Thompson, Lehman, try. Take a bow, Max Lehman. Jacks onto Corey Thompson, Fatape again, brilliant ball to Max Lehman. Oh, it's carnage, and Max Lehman is destroying them. Lau picks out Cott, and Benji Cott is unstoppable.
A fortnight after the Victorian government pulled out of the Commonwealth Games, there are still unanswered questions around the coast blowout at staging the event in regional Victoria. With Parliament resuming this week, the opposition is pushing for a parliamentary inquiry into the matter.
Getting their lines right before heading back to Parliament this week. The government is sticking to the script on the Commonwealth Games axing.
Frankly, more than $6 billion for a 12-day sporting event just didn't stack up.
However, pressing questions about how costs blew out by billions of dollars remains.
I'm happy to answer your question, and I'll answer it if you don't interrupt me, mate.
It's all still very raw for everybody. We have a number out there of $6 to $7 billion, which we know is exaggerated.
The government also defending its decision not to go with an earlier plan for a smaller scale regional games with existing infrastructure.
The contract that was agreed to between the Victorian government and the various Commonwealth Games officials had those 4 host cities of Geelong, Ballarat, Bendigo and Gippsland and the Latrobe Valley.
We, the Coalition, will be working with the crossbench this week in Parliament as we return to establish an upper house inquiry to get to the bottom of this debacle.
Low organ donor numbers in Victoria are also on the opposition's mind after parliamentary inquiries last week.
I will move a motion to Parliament that the Parliament does 2 things. Firstly, that they look at an opt-out system. That is, that every Victorian will be considered for organ donation where it's acceptable. The second thing I'll be doing, that is, we can actually put back on our driver's licence your intention to become an organ and tissue donor.
The opposition is also accusing the government of deceiving Victorians about the state of the budget by delaying public sector super payments until 2027. It's one of many questions set to be answered when Parliament sits on Tuesday.
That's it for the Media News. Join us for more at 6 p.m.
When you've got a magic box and a whole bunch